Welcome to round 4 of the Bond University QAFLW. For the first time in 2026, we are at Jack Esplin Oval in Hawthorn, home of last year's grand finalists, the Morningside Panthers. Both of these sides today, Morningside and the Bond University Bull Sharks, have 2 wins and 1 loss. But I think Morningside 2 weeks ago did what a lot of teams thought was impossible, and that was beat Southport early in the season. Not only that, they became the first team to win at Fankhauser Reserve for about 2 years. So they are full of beans despite a loss last week to Wilston Grange. Bond University, they're 2-1 as well. They've had wins over Aspley, Moreton Bay, lost to Cooperoo on Anzac Day. This is another big test for them. My name is Daniel Viles, and it's a great pleasure to have with me in the commentary box, becoming more regular than me in 2026, 2011 QAFLW Premiership winner with Yeronga and a whole host of other things, Amanda Whitehead. Whitey, welcome back to the commentary box. Morningside versus Bond is tasty.
Mate, I think I should be welcoming you back. I've been here a little bit more than you this year.
Can we just maintain appearances, please, Whitey? It's, people expect me to... oh, shut up. Anyway, so... Talk Morningside versus Bond. The one thing that I think is has to be said is that if the ground was dry, I think Bond would be favourites, but it's not.
Mate, this is, I think, the most anticipated game of the year. At this stage, anyhow.
Big call.
At this stage, anyhow. Bond's very young. They're coming out with a very, very young crew. I was just talking to Andy Lovell just then, their head coach, and he said, we're young, Whitey, but we're excited. So he's obviously had a few changes come into the squad late, well, as of last night, pretty much. So Emma Furlong comes in for her first ever senior match to cover for, I think it was for Kira Zarafa?
Yeah, Kira Zarafa, who switched from Southport to Bond. I mean, probably the biggest name recruit, but not quite ready yet. I'm not quite sure what the problem is there.
Yeah, it's an ankle, I believe.
Gotcha. Like given Kira's left foot and the brilliance of it, you kind of want the ankles to be right.
Exactly, mate. And you know what? She is an absolute talent. She was at Wilston Grange when I was there. Not going to lie, I probably recruited her a little bit, but it's good. And
a legend in Northern Territory football.
Absolutely.
She's represented, I know Northern Territory is not a state, but she's represented 2 states, which is a major achievement. 2
states and a territory, just roll with it. But then we go back to Morningside. Like, obviously, I have a bit of a soft spot for Morningside, but I have a soft spot for every team.
You are too well connected.
But they are very exciting. Morningside come out with only 1 new change in, which is Ava Jacobson. She comes in as her first senior match for this year, but they come in with just an absolute plethora of experience.
Can I tell you who I'm excited to see for Morningside, and that is the return to the QAFLW of Hannah McLaughlin, who, when she was at Cooperoo, particularly sort of 2023, her appetite for the contest was insatiable, and I just felt she was peaking, and then, for different reasons, had a couple of years away from this competition, but very excited to see her back. And, of course, in her new colours of red, white and black. Speaking of which, second time, because you saw Morningside in round 1. But Coco Garton, a Morningside junior, she's back.
And she's kicking off the ruck. And
up against our usual fullback, Sky White, who's been moved into the ruck by Andy Lovell. We are underway in round 4, the feature match. Shannon Nolan, the reigning Zilke medalist. And you can see in 24, the reigning MVP, Laura Roy. First time we've had a chance to see those 2 match up on each other since they won their respective awards last September. Opal Jones calls the first free kick of the match, and it will go the way of the Bond University Bull Sharks centre field. Jasmine Davidson, who's playing on the ball at the moment, a tall on-baller, but she's certainly got the skills. Goes inside 50. The attack is strong from Bond University, not quite able to keep it in. Off the ground, the one they call Evie Weaves. Just lost it. It's a long-running joke, and that's the only time I'll do it today. No clean ball, very muddy conditions, as you can see. Just quickly to go through the umpires, proudly supported by Bradnam's Windows and Doors, as always. In the field, Opal Jones and Mitch Blashak. On the boundary, Boston Midgley and Jake Dixon. In goal, Adam Bully and Rob Bully. Bustling through was Jasmine Davidson, trying to break her way through. Nolan with an aerial handball. You will hear from Whitey shortly once the action stops. Just kicked out of the way by Nolan, using her speed. Going back in defence is Ali Lappin, first year in Queensland. They're moving towards goal without really having control. Blattman had it. There was a push in the back. It will be a set shot to Bond University.
So today is going to be it's going to be a tough slog. It's very, very wet out there, very muddy. From obviously there's been fire. This is the fourth match on this ground today.
Just go to Shannon Nolan, set shot. Here. Keeps it low, keeps it straight. Shannon Nolan, not a noted regular goal scorer. That's her first of the year, the 11th in her 55-game career. But importantly, it's the first for Bond University today. And she pretty much made that herself with a lot of strong running through the middle of the park.
Pretty much. It is very muddy, especially up the corridor and on the broadcast wing. You obviously can't see it currently, but just in front of us on the broadcast wing, it's very, very muddy. The men's were really playing up this side of the ground, where I think today if the girls can push it out to the far wing, they may be able to get through with a bit of drier ground. But unfortunately, it's going to be an absolute mudfest today, I think.
Teresa Dixon moving into the ruck, lost the hit out, but Laura Roy got the clearance and did what she did about 1,000 times in 2025 by knocking it towards the 50. Courtney McDonald wrapped up by Grace Moody. Their besties off the field, opposing captains today, and I am hoping there'll be a little bit of fun. Just pushed off, it was Nikki Sanderman playing her second game in the Bond University jersey today. Play breaks down, just a ball up. Now, my question, Whitey, is that, of course, some teams will put the ball on the side of the field where the interchange gates aren't if they're trying to affect how often the opposition can interchange. So is there a better time of the game to do that? I'll put that question on hold as Sanderman just ran past it, and the tackle is strong from, I think, Iverack on Sophie Balcom, who played in her last game before this season, the QAFLW, was for Bond University in the grand final at Carrara. She knocks it out wide, gets a bit of a run, handballs it into the mud, which means it won't go out. Simone Arthur with the chip kick off the ground was beautifully taken by Grace Eller, her second year in the top grade. Reeves overruns it. Mackenzie Sleep scored 3 goals in round 1, kicks it out in the full there. So yeah, Whitey, the tactics of which side of the field you play on as regards to interchange.
Yeah, so you probably see it about 3-4 minutes in. Most clubs or most teams will interchange it around the 3-minute mark, 3-4 minute mark.
Good mark by Nolan.
Got a mark there by Nolan. So you'll probably find that most of the play will come towards whatever team has that tactic. Will try and come towards the bench, and the other team will try and push them out further.
Thank you for the insights. As Taylor snaffled it on the outside, was able to get there ahead of Kiara Tolley, who's come into the game this year. McCormick tracking back. Sanderman's pace was on show. We know that she's got some toe now. Neva Bell got the handball out to McCormick. She was pushed over, so not really a crime to clear the ball and just knock it out of bounds for a Lassie free kick.
That was great there by Shah. She just straight up the sideline, could see her player over the top and decided to pop it over.
I think she's playing better footy now than she has at any stage of her career, and she's
looking fit.
Supposedly the wrong side of third. Well, she started running half marathons and things, hasn't she?
Oh,
as Lexi Samuels had the ball at the back of the D. It's been all Bond University in the first few minutes, which means that my analysis pre-game was completely wrong. Brought to ground. Opal Jones will bring proceedings to a halt.
We just see Shah coming off for an interchange there.
So Taylor off. Have a look who's on. No one else knows who Shah is.
Oh, sorry. Charlotte Taylor. Sorry. And we'll see the return on the field of Heidi Grimster.
This is her debut. Big raps on Heidi Grimster. I believe she's a member of the Suns Academy.
Welcome to the QAFLW.
Holding the ball. Didn't use the opportunity, so Laura Roy. And that left foot is becoming famous in this competition. It's a pity we don't have Kira Zarafa playing today. It would have been a left footathon. Emma McNaughton kicks into space. Katie Day. Katie Day returning to the QAFLW this year.
Does she
trying
get
to
there?
win the race. Goes in front of the behind post.
Oh!
The angle into the post. Into the post from Katie Day. She won a premiership with UQ. She's played for Cooperoo, Woolston Grange, Aspley, and now Morningside, and she's excited the fans of all 4 clubs.
I would have liked to seen her just pick that up cleanly. She has such a good ground pick-up. If she just picked that up, took one step backwards, she would have been able to snap that.
So nearly making it count with their first foray inside 50. Reeves did well. They created a 2-on-1 against Arthur. You're always going to have a height advantage against Arthur, but you will never, never, never have a strength advantage. I believe that's Bortignon over on the side.
You got the binoculars, man.
Yeah, but she was turned around. There was mud on her number. Cleared away by Bellinger. We can have words at quarter time, Whitey, honestly. Reeves. Inside as they play it on the far side of the ground. Now trying to centre it, but Simone Arthur had all day to basically set up a tent and start a party for the ball as an arrival committee. Moves wide. And coming out to Ali Lappin. Moved north when her twin sister got drafted by the Lions. But it's all about the QAFLW today. The AFLW can wait. Good work at the back by Mackenzie Farmer, who's been in this competition and out of it for years.
It's great to see Macca back in the QAFLW where she belongs. She's been kicking it around in Division 1 for a bit there, and it's nice to see her back playing for Bond again.
Yeah, too good a player to be slumming it.
Absolutely.
Bit of, but on a different day that could have been called kicking in danger, but it is bogged down in the middle at the moment. Sienna Graham protected Rasheen Chu. Chu will get an inside 50. He just dribbles inside. Katie Day being tracked by Grace Ella. Looking around, they've been able to maintain possession. Just off a little bit of messy ball. Grace Ella, a hack kick with the left foot outside of the 50. This is probably the only quarter of the match that will be played in daylight. The second half will be in twilight, and the second half will be dark. Mitch Blashick with the ball up inside 50.
Very interesting here. Morningside's got... They're not quite pushing up enough to keep that ball in the 50. They're sort of keeping what we call like a spider web at the back. So if it does come out, it's all one-on-one. So obviously Damien Richards is banking on the fact that he's going to win those one-on-ones.
I'll get to that in a moment because you have analysed that perfectly, Amanda Whitehead, as Opal Jones will ball that up. That's how Morningside played last year. They don't press like a lot of other teams do. They will hang back. And when you've got people like Lucy McCormick, Lucy Bellinger, there's a couple of others back there, Tiffany O'Keefe, who's not in the side at the moment, but last year they did exactly that. They backed themselves in the one-on-one marking contests, and, well, they made a grand final. They won most of them.
And obviously we spoke about this earlier in the week, Daniel, but Morningside is very much a wet weather team.
Oh,
they love the wet weather. They love the ball on the ground. They're not the tallest team in the comp, so having that ball to the ground for their crumbers to come through and be able to pick that ball up is exactly what Damien Richards wants.
There's a reason, something about being close to the river that seems to affect it, because Cooperoo's the same. It's an inner east side thing. Morningside getting the ball clear just a little. Didn't quite fall into the hands of Kiara Tolley, who was going through. Graham at the back. Handballs to Tolley. Tolley will pop it up just towards the hot spot. Went over the head of Indiana Williams, who's back from a couple of years with the Brisbane Lions. And it is Indiana, not Indy. She told me that.
Okay.
Sweeping around the front was Alira Usher. Good to see her back in the top grade. Made her debut 3 years ago now. Graham had a very good first year in the Bond University QAFLW last year. Moody well positioned, couldn't hang on to the wet ball, socket off the ground, misses everything. That'll be a boundary throw in.
Be really interested to see how Morningside sets up here. Obviously, we just spoke about that ball in and them setting up sort of that web style defence. So
Bellinger coming off, coming onto the ground is ex-AFLW player Emma Humphreys. Good to see her in the Northern State this year. Laura Roy at the back of the pack, tries to muscle her way through. It slipped out. A shot came in from Indiana Williams. Off target. But she only needed about 1/10 of a second to get that away from hand to boot.
I think it's going to be like that all day, Daniel. It's wet out there. It's muddy. That ball is going to get heavy. It's like kicking a brick after a while when those Sharons start to soak up that water. It's tough. It is tough, and you'll end up with bruised feet by the end of it.
See, when we actually Aussie Rules are still played with a leather ball because synthetic.
It is?
Yeah, so which is something. There's some people who are very proud of that we keep the leather. Out the back to McNaughton. We know she has a thumping boot. Goes to centre half forward. Hits the deck in favour of Katie Day.
Pick it up.
Tries to sock her. Ignores Amanda Whitehead's advice. Moody's able to benefit. Not her best handball, but at least it got there. Nolan working around the back. Does a check side kick. Not able to link up with a teammate, but also not intercept mark. Just went over the head of Jacobson. Nolan backing up. That's how she racks up possessions. It's how hard she runs off the ball. Finds Alira Usher.
And this is where zoning defence can catch teams out, is if they cannot move fast enough to push back, and they couldn't. Bond ended up with 2-on-1.
That's why I get Whitey here. She can analyse a game like no one's business, as Ivorak takes a low-down mark. Starting to come back to her best, Ivorak. She's a dangerous forward. Commentators curse. That's entirely on me. She kicked that down the throat of, might be McLaughlin. It's been 3 years, I didn't recognise her instantly. Blame you for that, Hannah. Ivorak again. Moving well around the field. Spotted spare player in the middle, and that's Lexi Samuels, whose left foot is getting... I thought she was a little bit out of her depth when she started in senior grade. She's not anymore. 2025 was a good year for Lexi Samuels. And they're using the width of this ground well, Bond University.
This ground's very similar to Bond in terms of the width.
Good point.
So that's why I was so excited for this game, because it's such a well matched up teams in terms of their grounds are very similar, and they train on similar sized grounds.
So similar environments as Roy takes the ball at right wing, but different playing styles, different kinds of personnel. Roy going for the long kick. Arthur's in a good position. For someone in only a second year of footy, she reads the play so well. Arthur from a long way out. It may not need McNaughton. I'm going to give that goal to Simone Arthur. In fact, they have gone to her. Yeah. She's kicked that from 50 with a wet ball on a wet day. The former CrossFitter showing that she has more strength than anyone else.
She didn't just kick that on a wet day from 50. She was in a mud patch, Daniel. That was a mud patch. I don't know if you ever tried to kick a ball or anything from a mud patch. That is difficult. You can't get your studs in. You can't get your footing right because you're stuck there pretty much. So that was phenomenal. Congratulations, Sim Arthur. She's also in the leadership group this year.
Yeah, not surprising. She's I don't know. I mean, she's not a teenager. I don't know exactly how old she is. But yeah, just to I've mentioned this before, but I think 2 years ago she was ranked number 7 in Australia for CrossFit.
Wow!
And her physical strength is
unreal.
Fitting for someone who was ranked number 7 in Australia for CrossFit. Teresa Dixon, with a good second effort, had Chu behind her, finds her indirectly. The end. Bond have the numbers, but couldn't seem to find the pill. Just jumps out the back, towed through inside 50. It's not really... that was not Humphreys, that was Nikki Sanderman, who's made her presence felt early. Taylor Socket through to Blattman. Battle of the headgear, Blattman versus McCormick. Morningside with the lead, and I think that was Balcom who ran straight into Dutton. Lacey Dutton, the most popular Dutton in Queensland. As Blattman just knocks it down. Couldn't get it back to Dutton. And now just locked down at right half forward, Bond's perspective.
I don't really have much to say here.
No. Let people enjoy the sounds of the game, Whitey. Just giving commentary tips to both Whitey and all of you. That's a throw. Opal Jones has spotted him. She spots most things. And so the free kick will go to Bellinger. Humphreys trying to get away from Heidi Grimster, and the woman on debut is tracking her. Davidson went for it, didn't quite get there. Chapman got the kick away, and Arthur is just reading the play like she had the book before the game. Keeps it wide. Chapman got her hands in front, pumps it back inside 50. It'll go to Balcom, who's not on her same team anymore. Oh, excellent work. I thought Lynch was looking for the safety of the boundary line. She ended up with the ball. Contact below the legs is called.
Yes.
And so Lynch earns her own free kick. Greta Lilcock. First time I've seen it today. Oh, there was a push in the back. Lilcock did brilliantly. The free kick doesn't go against her. It goes against a teammate. Bella Ivorak. For about 48 out. She doesn't go for the shot today. I have seen her. Blattman, the leading goal kicker of 2025, who brought up 50 goals in this competition a couple of weeks ago, and I haven't had a chance to find out if she was the quickest there, but she did it in 19 games, rather.
I reckon that'd have to be a record, mate.
Kalinda Howarth is the only other one. Blattman Her addition to this competition has been magnificent for Queensland women's footy. And Bond take the lead. It's the first quarter. We've had 2 lead changes already.
What a cracking first quarter, but like I said, this is a really anticipated game. We've got 2 teams who are very young. Even though Morningside, you know, they've got the experience on their side, they've still got a lot of young players in there as well. You know, you've got Lappin, you've got Ava, I think it is as well. You know, they're quite young and they're still learning the game.
Alira Usher, who is older than her sister, who's now at the Suns, but not exactly ancient.
No.
But you're right, there are a lot of young players. Of course, one stat that's probably slipped a few, in fact, I'll just hold on to it. But there is a player who's often overlooked, not by me in this competition, but who I do like to make a fuss of whenever I can. That's beautiful hands at the back of the contest. Ella Furlong on debut showed that she's got very quick thought and very quick hands. Chapman and Reeves combining well. Sienna Graham took them all on. It was 1-on-3, and Graham got the ball, then lost it, then put the tackle on Chapman. Well done, Sienna Graham. So Jasmine Davidson's moved into the ruck. Today is her 83rd seniors game for Bond University.
Yep.
Now, for Bond overall, she's not played as many games as some others, Paris Lightfoot, but that is actually the record for the most senior games in the QAFLW. So that probably would have been a good trivia question before now. If I'd asked people who's played the most senior QAFLW games for Bond, it is now Jasmine Davidson.
There you go.
And in an alternate universe, she's been drafted as a centre halfback and a tall midfielder. I don't quite know how that hasn't happened, but let's move on. Davidson on the ground now. So, look, I have my opinions, but the recruiters don't ask me. Stasis listening to this going, shut up, Daniel. Reeves, that was beautifully picked off by Chu. We know about...
Oh, Chewy.
She's a fearless player, Rashid Chu. Beautifully charged down by Laura Roy. Can't get out of there. Did she have prior opportunity? It was a 50-50 call, but I think because she went for the fend, actually, that was why it was deemed to have
Chu
prior
is an
opportunity.
absolute fearless player, and she's also a training surgeon, would you believe?
I actually do believe that.
Yeah, she is. She's going into... She's a doctor, that is. It's actually Dr. Chu.
Dr. Chu, that is her name from now on. Knocked out of Garton's hands, went to Dutton. Davidson with a strong tackle, had the discipline to keep it around the forearm, the upper arm rather. Garton versus Davidson.
See Greta come back in here. If they should make a bit of an impact straight away.
I think she just copped an arm around the chest from Nolan as Nolan was running backwards. Nothing deliberate. But, Lilcock, who has a soccer background, played a bit. I'm pretty sure she played NPL. Garton has a bit of better leap than Davidson, but Davidson's got a few tricks. So I'm interested in your analysis of that contest, maybe at quarter time. Lilcock pulled off the ball. Reeves. Bond had plenty of numbers doing hard work. Usher went straight back to Lilcock, I believe, is in the middle of that. It was a Lilcock sandwich there for a little while. Reeves went back to Taylor, kicks it away to Garton. Actually, that wasn't Taylor. Oh, no, it was. I was going to say I've done her dirty, but no, I haven't. Charlotte Taylor, you deserve criticism. So, through the middle comes out Kiara Tolley. Went straight up the middle. That'll be all she wrote in the first quarter. It's been a very entertaining game, a very skillful game in the wet. Morningside 1-2-8. Their goal scored a booming kick from Simone Arthur. 2 goals to Bond University, courtesy of Shannon Nolan and Kendra Blattman. It's Bond University by 4. This is round 4 of the Bond.
Okay, let's give them 60 minutes of skills, fitness and fun. And let's not forget about connection. We're talking safe, inclusive and modified rules, perfect for newcomers. Okay, super kick on 3.
1, 2, 3, super kick! Woo! Yeah!
Super fun, super safe, super inclusive. Super kick, tailor-made for 7 to 12-year-olds.
AFL Nines, it's footy for
Best mates looking to be teammates.
cardio fiends after a bit of competition.
Legends of the game. Looking at making a comeback.
It's footy for when your week's pretty cooked.
Or for fitting it in between classes.
It's footy!
It's footy.
It's footy.
It's footy for me.
It's not just an Australian sport. There's a lot of countries that come over and create a home here that can also join in and play the sport to the fullest potential.
All the advice that you get given, it's really inspiring.
Being part of a football team is more than just a game. It's like a family.
To find your more, visit play.afl/more to footy.
Football club is very, very important in this community. Without it, there's not much else to do in such a small town.
I do believe that there's so much more to sport than just winning.
If my story says anything, it's that you don't need the experience, having the passion and having the want to see the young girls excel.
It's also, to me, a chance to give back to the community.
To find your more, visit play.afl/more to footy.
University get the first clearance and immediately get it out wide, maybe not by design. It was Ella Furlong who just overran it at the end. Was that Arthur again? No, it wasn't, who just went sailing past it. Laura Roy gets the left foot out. Was Day taken early? The umpire decided no. Bouncing ball. Mackenzie slips one tackle. Gets it inside 50 in the general direction of McNaughton. She's being tracked by Farmer. McNaughton hits the deck. Farmer had the ball, and in the end, the roles of defender and attacker were reversed. Now, I've just seen across the bottom of the scoreboard, they've actually put up there a notice about Ava Jacobson making a QAFLW debut. That's if the play stays here, you'll see that. But unfortunately, Toby Chapman decides, I don't want to see a Morningside player celebrated. Just kicked out of the way, and that has quite rightly been called kicking in danger. So Talia Bortignon, who's been around the QAFLW system, played a lot of reserve grade. I think she's been down to Melbourne a couple of times. Good to see her in seniors. It's
Sophie Balcom,
who I highly rate as a defender, and if you want to see her at her best, 2024 preliminary final against Aspley.
I got told I wasn't allowed to talk about her.
So I can. Yes, there is a housemate situation, but we're not talking about that. As Bond University work it away, that was Grace Moody who was able to pivot out of defence and find a teammate. It was touched on the way through, so cold play on Moody. That was Reeves who got to her, spun out of the tackle of Lilcock. Nolan coming the other way. Katie Day doesn't bother to pick it up, just hacks it inside 50. Defender not able to keep her feet. Was kicked through by Williams. Up towards centre half forward. McNaughton goes sprawling. Gets the handball out. Probably needed to promote the ball, but didn't quite have the accuracy. Went past Williams, who's putting in lots of different efforts, as you'd expect by someone who's been at the Starcevich training school for the last couple of years. Knocked out at 50 by Chapman. Good work by Bortignon. No regard for self-safety as Bortignon, and I think that's Balcom at the bottom. It wasn't, it was Dixon.
I don't even know.
No, it was Lilcock.
No, it's not. It's Lilcock.
Sorry, Greta. I do rate you. Free kick.
And then Sleep was on the ground somehow. Oh! Looks like Coco's had a chin knock.
Good grief, yes. So we'll get a good view of it soon. That is spectacular from Simone Arthur. Got to the ball, wrestled it away from Sky White. Picked up by Bortignon.
Great tackle there by Chu.
Thanks for picking that up, because it was a great tackle by Chu. Day on the ground. Reeves trying to wrestle her way through. Brought to ground by Arthur, who I think is trying to push her into the ground. Simone Arthur is trying to literally bury Evie Reeves. Kicked out of the way by Charlotte Taylor. It's frantic ball. It's entertaining. You can see the athleticism. Nolan trying to break through. Tackled by Day. Was kicked inside 50 by Roy. Roy turns chaos into order as Indiana Williams on the lead marks.
I'll tell you what, Morningside's forward coach there, Jen Ravel, she's a Gold Coast Suns AFL forward coach in 2024 and has now come to Morningside to be under Damien Richards. She'd be happy with that. Absolutely wrapped.
Indiana Williams ends up just putting it to the goal square, hits the deck. Roy trying to burst through, trying to get a foot to it. Katie Day. Yeah, that was tackled. Good call from Opal Jones. I've said that more than once over the last 3 years. Oh, she's a good young umpire, that's all I'm going to say.
She is, she's a great young umpire.
From the Sunshine Coast, they're very proud of them up there. Ella Furlong just dropping the soapy surface, weighing a brick ball.
Beth Pynchon.
So good to see Beth Pynchon back in the competition.
It's exciting, isn't it?
Sophie
Balcom! Sell some candy!
Bit of free kick called. I'm trying to see whether it was downtown. No, there was contact before the ball got there, so Williams has been penalised. I think it's Reeves who's taking the... No, it's Moody, apologies. Bortignon gets it centrally. I'm not sure that's going to be the Bonds' advantage. It was made to their advantage. They're running hard. Graham towards the goal square. It's a 2-on-2 battle. Grace Moody was in position, and water makes things wet. She's just, her positional sense is incredible. So underrated, Grace
She
Moody,
is very clean for someone who's on a muddy ground, mate.
Katie Day. Day going through, wasn't able to
Unlike
dispose
Sophie
in time.
Balcom, who's absolutely covered in mud currently.
Well, she's been rolling around in the mud
Look
when the
at
ball's
her,
been
mate.
nowhere near her.
Absolutely, absolutely.
She sees pig in mud as a career goal.
I'm not saying.
She'll hear it on the replay. Graham on the ground. Knocked out, just knocked away from Pynchon. Pynchon again roving. Has White in front of her. Not able to move it away was Grace Ella. And neither was Katie Day, who hasn't had a lot of success yet in this match, but my goodness, she's covered some ground and she's giving herself every opportunity. Didn't make its way to Nolan, and the defence swarmed. Now it makes its way to Nolan. Working out again. Not the best kick. Dixon not able to hold on because it just swung away from her as it reached her. Humphrey scrambling. Played for West Coast, Melbourne and one other club. Ball up in front of the camera. Lexi Samuels returns it to Mitch Blashik. So with Maisie Evans not available today, Sky White with a beautiful tap down to Usher. Usher not quite able to get away from the contest. Graham did the dirty work at the bottom. Now it's back inside 50. Players laying all over each other. It's a case of working out exactly where the ball is. Moody appealing to Opal Jones. Nothing coming. Ball up.
I'd say their midfield, Morningside's midfield coach Tate McCreel would be really happy with that.
Clever work with the boot by Pynchon just to knock it out of danger's way. Make sure that even if Morningside did regain possession, as that's gone out for a boundary throw-in.
I will have to say, I spoke to Damo or Damien Richardson earlier this week, and he really does have a star-studded coaching group, doesn't he, Daniel? He's got Jen Ravel from the Suns, he's got Tate McCreel from the Giants, and he's got Bree, who's the current AFLW Lions captain.
He's got pulling power, Mr. Richards.
And then there's just Damo. No, I'm kidding, mate.
Simone Arthur out on the full. I think we've both got people to answer to after this game, Whitey. It's going to be a much scrutinised commentary. No score yet, 7 minutes into this second quarter. The pace has been frantic. Morningside has dominated possession. Pretty much all the play's been to the right of your screen.
Very interesting, Daniel. We are talking about that. Morningside is man on man, or woman on woman, or whatever you would like to say, person on person.
Player on player.
Player on player.
We've got 4 options there. Take your pick.
Yeah. They,
Arthur kicks in field. It goes into space. Chapman chasing. McNaughton chasing. McNaughton able to break away. McNaughton!
Wow.
She's back. Did the ACL last year. Scored the historic first goal for Morningside in the Bond University QAFLW. And today we have lead change number 3. And it's courtesy of a bit of slick footwork, both to run away from the contest and kick the goal from Emma McNaughton.
That was great there by Morningside. They were playing man-on-man footy. McNaughton pushed away from her player, made the space, found that footy in her hands, stepped one side to the left and gave herself the opportunity to go straight into goals. And that's exactly what you need to do when the field is like this. When the field is wet, it's boggy, it's heavy. That ball is like a brick, as we've spoken about. You need to be able to give yourself space so you can really get into that football if you're going to kick it. So well done by McNaughton.
And some of the players dominating today are those who come from sports that require more upper body strength. So we've mentioned Arthur from the CrossFit.
Yes.
McNaughton has a sort of rugby and touch background from memory.
Oh, brilliant.
And once again, the upper body strength, because the way that that was almost like a rugby fend that she produced to get away from the. And again, Morningside's got the forward momentum from the restart. They've got a lead by 2 points. What we're aiming for in the Bond University QAFLW is more games where you turn up not knowing who's going to win. There have been a lot of one-sided games in this competition historically, as Ivorak put it onto the chest of Sandeman, whose run and carry's been good. Looking for Blattman. McCormick got across in front of her, just got the little hand in the way. Blattman trying to knock it around McCormick. McCormick kept her feet and picked it up. Superb defence. She's very highly rated by those in the know, is the pink head-geared Lucy McCormick.
Interesting just then, number 2, Chu, she pushed into the goal square to become like a spare backman for them, sort of leaving her player, which is the first time we've sort of seen a Morningside player come away from their opposition.
Good spot. If Chu is named on this wing, however, she's essentially turning herself into a spare because that's of more value than playing player on this wing. Blackman in the ruck, as she often does when the ball up is in the forward 50. Reeves at the bottom of the pack, as the lights are definitely the dominant form of light at the moment, the floodlights to which I refer. Roy, even her miss kicks go 40 metres, and that one came slightly off the side of the boot. Loose ball in the middle of the ground. Sleep putting on the... done more defending than attacking today, Sleep. Got a little bit too involved in the tackle early. And so it will be a Bond free kick in pretty much the centre of the park to Furlong. Another left footer. That was a crowded pack, and almost taking it was Sandeman at the back. It sort of came to her a little bit quickly. Couldn't hold on to it. Still messy ball, but it's going to be that kind of day, but it's quick. They're forcing errors from each other. McNaughton just below us getting a bit of attention to her hand. That was well done by Jacobson on debut, as the scoreboard keeps reminding us. Lilcock goes wide. It'll land in the mud, so there's no way it's going to go out of play. Well played by Moody, who was able to get herself up forward.
Sophie's going to get you for that, mate, because that was Sophie that kicked it out.
Oh, was it? Right.
You're not invited for dinner anymore. Bugger.
You'll miss out on the repartee. So Bond University, they've weathered a lot, only conceded the one goal in this quarter. They have an opportunity now. Davidson with the tap over the top of Dixon. Needed space, just scooped off the ground with the foot. Blackman takes the mark, and that must have only just gone 15 metres. It came from nothing from Lynch, saw it on the ground, flicked it up with the toe. Blackman said, I'm a chance here. She was more than that. So Kendra Blackman lining up for goal number 54. In a QAFLW career that is barely more than a year old, Kendra Blackman forces yet another lead change in this game. We are watching something special already.
What did I say, Daniel? It was one of the most anticipated games around 4. We didn't know. Like you said, we don't know what today was going to bring. The weather. We know Morningside loves the wet. We know Andy Lovell spoke to me before the game and he said, we don't like the wet, Whitey. No. But they're playing amazing football, both teams. And now we're 12 minutes into the second quarter. This is when it gets hard. We're in really twilight mode. The lights are starting to hit that mud, which is starting to reflect the lights.
I had not considered that. Thank you.
It is. If you look over in the patch over there, it's hard to see the ball. It's hard to know what's, Oh,
5-6-5. Just there was an interchange that was a little bit slow, and so I think that's a warning against Morningside as Humphreys was coming on. Now, thank you for the observations. You've got slightly more playing experience in this competition than I do. Katie Day, excellent pickup, got it around. Was there a push in the back? Chapman's done well to hold her feet either way, then was able to escape the attention. Morningside still able to propel it forward. Bond University in possession, but on retreat. Eventually back to Chapman, who's done a lot of work today. I've been very impressed with Chapman's defensive work. Goes out wide, is being chased by Matilda Clarkson, who's now made it into the senior side after a fair bit of time in reserves, but the free kick has gone to the Panthers.
You're not wrong. Chapman has been working for the last 2 quarters to keep this ball out.
Lands in space, went through the hands of Day. Chapman again. Davidson working hard in defence. McNaughton with nothing clean. Bond have the numbers at the back. Morningside had the players in the right places. It'll just be a ball up. The Panthers ready to pounce.
Once again, Chu's out here on her own. Oh no, she's just been picked up then.
Davidson dropped it. Getting space, it was just charged down, the goal, shot on goal from Laura Roy. McNaughton deep in the pocket, trying to connect up with Day. Day trying to run into space, beat 2 tackles. The kick came off the top of the boot. McNaughton dropped it, tried to turn and kick in the one motion. Reeves was able to get hands on it. Bond can't move it out of there. Clarkson strong in the tackle. About 10 metres from goal. Just another ball up.
Chu's just out here broadcast side. Her player is starting to sort of push into the play, so she is falling back there on her own. So if they can get that ball out the back, 1-2, I think Chu might have a good chance here.
It was Hannah McLaughlin with first hands to the ball from that last contest. Arthur moving away from it. Chapman on the ground again, working out the back. Nolan positioned herself beautifully. Doesn't quite clear 50. Running onto it was Sandeman. Over the top found Furlong. Now clears 50. Good work by Ivarak, who'd come very shallow. Furlong again, having a wonderful debut. Went out wide to Lynch. Just kicks it forward off the ground as the commentator kicks the chair. Balcom wrestling hard. Loses out on this occasion. And then got it again. Stayed in the play. Good work, Sophie Balcom. Charge down. Sandeman or Usher? I'm still learning to tell them apart in the dark. And they're wearing 13 and 43, but it was Sandeman both times then. Eventually propelled forward by Bond. Blattman trying to get away from McCormick. The McCormick versus Blattman battle. It's a pity we don't have 6 cameras around here because we'd be able to have one camera just trained on the Morningside fullback.
It'd be brilliant.
Versus, because the amount of legitimate jostling and bustling that's going on off the ball to get front position is fantastic.
That's what you want, you know, from any.
McDonald. The captain stands up. Sorry to cut you off, but
no.
Courtney McDonald produced a bit of magic and then found Chu. Over 100 games worth of experience. There's a few of them out there today. Looking for Day, who, if you include her time in Melbourne, would be getting up around that number as well.
Holding.
Yeah, just a little bit too much jostling from Grace Ella, but I don't think Andy Lovell will be too disappointed. Chu moving forward. Day goes inside 50, and Graham came across the front.
Was it Graham?
No, it was Roy.
No.
Sorry, wrong blonde ponytail. Roy spotted the player. That was a beautiful run from Lilcock. It just went over her head. Still has space. It was closed down. Superb work from Clarkson. Davidson forced the turnover. Was that a player tackled off the ball? McLaughlin showing her strength. Ducks under one tackle.
Someone's
Promotes it
just
to
down
Day. We'll keep it up. Lilcock off the check side. Going for the off break. It'll just go out of bounds for a throw in. Player down
that
one.
Number, Daniel? I can't see who it is.
No, and Jasmine Davidson just walked in front.
Oh.
Might be Courtney McDonald. No, she's the one standing up.
No, she's the one standing up.
No, it was Courtney McDonald. Don't
On the
question.
grab?
And she's just stood up. Don't question me again, Whitey.
Sorry, boss. You are the king of the QAFLW, Daniel.
No, we're both fans, let's face it. Throw in taken again. It was very much offline, which is no disgrace on a day like today.
Courtney's not looking good here. She's
a little bit groggy, isn't she?
Yeah, she's looking a bit sore. So I'll keep an eye on that one.
If she stays groggy, I hope she makes some more social media posts because they're quality at the best of times, and if she's groggy, I reckon they'd be even better.
Oh, dear.
Morningside on the attack. It was punched through. The umpires are keeping a very close watch on what's happening off the ball.
We get in trouble for talking about people's social media, Daniel.
It's a very good point.
We got in trouble at the Woolston Grange game.
Oh, did you? We shall talk later.
We'll talk about it after.
Morningside, they've been parked in that left forward pocket for the last 3 or 4 minutes. Probably scooped up. Day, identifiable in the long sleeves. Gee, she's strong. Slips it to Roy. It'll go back towards the goal square.
Oh.
McDonald not quite able to take it. Tried to flick it to Lilcock. Lilcock brought to ground. Bond doing enough. And the wet conditions are hurting Morningside at the moment because they often get the ball into space, but they can't pick it up cleanly.
Sorry about that, mate. Choking on my
See, this is the advantage of me being loud. I can talk over your coughing. Bond's still not able to clear. They got the barest finger onto the ruck contest. Davidson's working hard. And they're... free kick will go to... It's definitely for holding. It has gone to Morningside. And we know that Laura Roy has this distance with a dry ball. And I'm not going to rule her out with a wet ball. Because it is a booming left boot that Laura Roy has.
I wouldn't if she was further into the right-hand pocket. She is right in the middle of that mud patch, mate, and there is no runway up to there. So she has one slip. We may not see it.
She got a call from the bench about how much time was remaining. Laura Roy, distance not a problem. Direction
might be.
It's an extraordinary game here at Jack Esplin Oval. The score does not reflect the speed of this game. It's Morningside 2-3-15 trailing Bond University 3-18. You're going to want to watch the second half of this match here at Jack Esplanade Oval. This is round 4 of the Bond University QAFLW.
Okay, let's give them 60 minutes of skills, fitness and fun. And let's not forget about connection. We're talking safe, inclusive and modified rules, perfect for newcomers. Okay, super kick on 3.
1, 2, 3, super kick! Woo! Yeah!
Super fun, super safe, super inclusive. Super kick, tailor-made for 7 to 12-year-olds.
AFL 9s, it's footy for
Best mates looking to be teammates.
cardio fiends after a bit of competition.
Legends of the game, looking at making a comeback.
It's footy for when your week's pretty cooked.
Or for fitting it in between classes.
It's footy!
It's footy.
It's footy.
It's footy for me.
He's not your traditional coach. He wears his heart on his sleeve.
She's the backbone of our defence, and she leads the team from the front.
He always shows up for us. He really cares about every player.
She's calm and methodical. She leaves nothing to chance.
I wasn't the most confident player coming to Bond, but he showed me what I'm capable of.
When a game doesn't go her way, she puts her head down, gets to work, and she gets better.
Andy is always in my corner, and he always will be.
Whatever Gemma sets her mind to, she'll achieve it.
It's not just an Australian sport. There's a lot of countries that come over and create a home here that can also join in and play the sport to the fullest potential.
All the advice that you get given, it's really inspiring.
Being part of a football team is more than just a game. It's like a family.
To find your more, visit play.afl/more to footy.
Football club is very, very important in this community. Without it, there's not much else to do in such a small town.
I do believe that there's so much more to sport than just winning.
If my story says anything, it's that you don't need the experience, having the passion and having the want to see the young girls excel.
It's also, to me, a chance to give back to the community.
To find your more, visit play.afl/more to footy.
Oh my God, I missed you so much. And it was very windy and very, very cold. It was freezing and the rain was coming on us every time we moved back. And it was stuck on the wall. And you could see it. Oh my God, I'm gonna fall over back. I was nervous about going in. About my doing
We are watching the kind of game that we want more of in the Bond University QAFLW. We've had 5 goals in this match, which is only one more than the number of lead changes. Morningside 2-3-15, trailing Bond University 3 straight 18. Morningside's goals to Simone Arthur in the first term, Emma McNaughton in the second. For Bond University, Shannon Nolan scored in the second minute, and then Kendra Blattman has a goal in each quarter because Kendra Blattman. Don't forget, you're obviously watching this game on the official AFLQ YouTube channel. The other 4 games in this round, there's 2 others in progress at the moment, but as long as YouTube exists, they will be there. Please go and watch these other matches. Those of us who are involved with the Bond University QAFLW are immensely proud of it. And, please get our numbers up. But also, just never mind what's in it for us. What's in it for you is that you will see some of the best women's Aussie rules players that Australia has to offer. We will put ourselves up against the VFLW every day of the week. My name is Daniel Viles. With me is someone with extensive experience in this competition, Amanda Whitey Whitehead. 3-point lead to Bond University, Whitey. It's been fast.
It's been fast, it's been fierce, it's been wet and muddy to say the least.
And the brick's holding up very well, the big yellow brick that's flying around. In terms of, I find these games difficult to analyse, which is why I defer to your knowledge, because in one sense it's an inside midfielder's day, but not all of them are going to end up with high disposal counts. Where their value is how much pressure they're putting on the opposition, how many times they're just able to get the 1%er by knocking the ball away from an opponent. So it's I'm very grateful to iSports for the stats, but I don't think they're necessarily going to tell the story of this game when we see them on Monday.
No, and that is the thing. As a footballer, myself and all these guys out here, we love looking at our stats, but unfortunately, stats in a wet game, in a muddy situation like this, just don't reflect you as an actual football player.
What we can look at, though, is team stats. I mean, an inside 50 on a day like today often counts as double. Your scoring per inside 50 will be down a bit because, and it's changing, but I mean, for a long time in women's footy, we'd talk about an inside 30 rather than inside 50. And
yes.
So, but to be fair, I mean, Morningside dominated that second term, only got the 1 goal for it, so Bond have that in their favour. The full moon was last night, but the moon that you may or may not be able to
Connor,
see...
can you just zoom into that moon? It's beautiful.
Well, there is a game that's about the stars.
Yeah, he hasn't started yet. Look at it.
There's a full moon to the east of Jack Esplin Oval. We are in darkness apart from the magnificent floodlights here at the Esplin. And again, nothing clean. Not sure anyone got an actual disposal in that little passage of play, but Coco Garton, who does
that
she
was
still
the out of control umpire too that called that.
Out of zone umpire.
Out of zone,
Otherwise
out of
it
control.
sounds like you're saying out of control.
Oh, you never know.
You said it, not me. So play over on the far side with Morningside again in attack. They've definitely had the better of territory for, the lion's share of this match now. The Panthers' share. Volleyball breaks out, goes to Day, always dangerous. Ella got her head over the ball and almost paid the price for it. The shot comes in from Williams over to the right, but it reduces the gap from 3 to 2. So pleased to see Williams back in this competition. Some of the work she did up at Maroochydore before she was drafted was spectacular. I'm disappointed that for different reasons she didn't really get a go in the AFLW because I think she's quality.
But you want those kind of quality players to come back to the QAFLW,
Oh,
Daniel.
100%.
You know.
In fact, I'm selfish. I want them all here. I want them all to get delisted and come back. Holding off the ball, and they've been very strict on that today. Free kick, not the greatest kick, and yet somehow it found a way through. Superb work from Lynch, juggled it and then got the kick away. Backing away, that's strong work from Usher. Because there was a real chance that Lappin could have broken away. And the battle of the players who have sisters in the AFLW ended up being won by the Usher over the Lappin. Arthur with a left foot kick towards Ella again, getting a bit of help from Pynchon. Storied career with Coolangatta last decade, then had some time in the AFLW. And I selfishly, she's one of the players I'm glad to see delisted, so she's playing in this comp. Garton attacked the ball, then tripped over a foot. Taylor, the handball gets it to Sanderman. Now looking for Blattman. Good body position. Getting back is Balcom, causes the 2-on-1. Blattman holds her feet, gets front position. Blattman wins the free kick against Balcom.
Even though that was a free kick there, that was a really great read of play from Sophie there. She saw it was going to go over the top. She had already pushed off her player and started to continue to be that kick behind. It was very smart football there by Balcom.
Well said. Blattman into the centre. It falls off the back of the contest to McCormick, who ties herself in a knot. The shot comes in from Lynch. Just off target. First time I've seen Annabelle Lynch live today. Came into the side this year. Averaging a goal a game at the moment. Not on the scoreboard today, but you can see how little time she needs to turn an opportunity into points.
Look who's just at that 50 there on her own.
That was Balcom, or were you looking at Sanderman?
No, Taylor.
I beg your pardon, thank you. I had a Connor in the way. And we completely ignored a fantastic mark taken again by Lynch. Finds Taylor, who was spotted by you a minute ago. Now, last time I criticised Taylor's kicking distance on air, I got criticised not only by Taylor but also by her off-field trainer, Luke Glacken. But she looks inside, saw the one-on-one. Was that the right option? Pulled off. It'll be cleared by Bellinger and taken by McDonald. Harmony at home.
Hope McDonald just slows it down here and waits for her players to come through.
Arthur with the speed and strength. Graham is peeled off around the outside. Arthur goes inside, gets away from Taylor. Arthur keeps it wide, goes over the head of Graham, but we know Graham has speed. She also has a lot of mud around her at the moment. Breaks away, goes towards the hot spot. McDonald! You learn a thing or two about reading the game when you've played over 100 games. There's a few of them on this field. McDonald, Moody and Taylor for Bond. It's about McDonald at the moment, who of course began that play back at left half-back.
And that, exactly there, is why she's the captain again for the second year in a row at Morningside, because she has the game knowledge to be able to be in the right spot at the right time.
Well spoken, Whitey. So McDonald, premiership winner with Yeronga. Around the mark, distance is good. Courtney McDonald brings us lead change number 5 at Jack Esplin Oval.
As I just said, it's experience, right? You spoke about how many games she's played, Daniel, and it's that experience within the football and being able to read that play to understand where she needed to be at that time. It's a special feeling being a premiership player at Yeronga, so I've got that too.
Really? Tell me more.
I was in a very special team that year. Played with the likes of Kate Lockins, Katie Brennan, a lot more.
It's something that sort of...
Jess Maloof.
As the resident cheerleader for this competition, it's something that I want to highlight more and see if we can get people to talk about those games, find whatever video footage we can, get the stats. We're back in the middle of Jack Esplin Oval. Garton wins the ruck contest. It only goes about a metre, and then the wrestle begins. It's been a prominent part of tonight's game, and yet it's been quick.
It's very muddy where they are right now.
Yeah, the cricket pitch that was here during the summer is no longer, and yet it's having an effect. Holding off the ball, the umpires have been so strict, and it actually does help to open the game up. It's kicked away by McLaughlin. Didn't quite connect. A few hands in the back. Humphreys was lurking. Day through the middle. Handballs to Graham. Sweated upon by Clarkson. Graham again underneath. Was on her front, was on her back. She's turning around like she's on a rotisserie at the moment.
Not in the footy. Who was that, Daniel?
It was Graham, but I think she sort of rolled onto it, and it looked voluntary, but I'm not entirely convinced it was, and that's not a criticism of the umpiring decision. Bond cleared it, kicked it to an opponent, and still managed to get it back. Samuels tussling with Graham, goes wider. That will not harm either of them. Good work from Samuels to try to go under the contest, didn't quite work. The impressive Pynchon just was able to knock it forward.
I talk about how hard it is to play in these kind of conditions. I've also been an umpire, and I know how hard it is to umpire in these kind of conditions as well. It's not easy seeing a yellow football on green grass. I can tell you that.
That's a very good point. It's made for contrast with the sky, not the ground.
Correct.
Which on a wet day is not really the contrast you need. In fact, it's through the miracle of television and visual medium. For those of you watching this game, it probably looks brighter on your screen than it is if you were here. It's quite hazy around the ground as well. I'm not quite sure why that is. I don't think it's just my aging vision.
No, it is. It is hazy. It's just low cloud.
Thank you for the meteorology.
No worries. I'll be on Channel 7 News tonight.
Aim higher. Day. Around the corner. That's gone to McLaughlin. McLaughlin, booming kick. And McLaughlin!
Wow!
A stunning kick from the pocket. Welcome back to the Bond University QAFLW. We have missed you, Hannah.
I don't even know what to say. I'm just going to say what Damo just said. Get around him. He's down there laughing now. I don't know what else to say about that, Daniel. That could be goal of the year.
It's a contender. It deserves a nomination. And it is something. Now, I'm just going to say this because there aren't enough staff at AFL Queensland to watch every single game and nominate the goals and marks. If you see something, it doesn't matter whether you're a player, coach, fan, parent, doesn't matter. If you see something, clip it out, send an email to AFLQ and say, I think this should be nominated for Goal of the Year or Mark of the Year. Because quite often in the early rounds of the final series, which aren't counted, but the staff at AFLQ headquarters are scrambling. And they sometimes ask me to fill in and go, hey, Daniel, what have you seen? So that one will be nominated. But any that haven't been on the commentated games that you feel deserve some attention, don't assume that someone else has done it.
Mate, goal of the year this game. Last game when we did the Woolston Grange game, I said Summer Hamilton, rising star, bang.
You are a woman of influence, Whitey.
I'm really not, but I'll take the credit.
I'm a middle-aged white man, so you have to listen to me. Straight white man at that. As the full moon rises. No, I know I've got social capital. Katie Day at the bottom of the contest as Daniel moves on away from that conversation. The whistle goes. Will be a free kick to Bond, to Grace Moody. And congratulations to Grace for bringing up her 100th game in this competition last week. The result didn't go her way, but what a magnificent career achievement to reach 100 Bond University QAFLW games. McDonald coming off, replaced by Sleep. The ball hits the deck. And just Bond, they kind of lost control of this game. 9 points is hardly a blowout, but it is the biggest margin of this game. Might have been, no, it was Roy who kicked it out from the pack. Day had to let it go so she didn't get pinged. Both teams getting players around the ball. I think Morningside, maybe, help me, Whitey, Morningside just putting their players in better positions around the contest, and that's why they're getting the ball more.
Yeah, it looks like Tate, their midfield coach, has just slightly changed their midfield setup to be more defensive with a slight attack at the back.
So essentially more players behind the footy?
Just more man-on-man, like player on player. So if you watch them, has the ball up, goes here, they're at the back there, they're player on player, but back here they've got Chu who's sort of sweeping around the back to be that sort of attacking player.
So tight on one side of the contest and loose on the other side.
So it's basically like a defensive hold to their forward line.
As it's moved inside 50, the run of Indiana Williams, who's been prolific in the last little while. In fact, she may have been moved out of the forward line further back. I'll have to keep an eye on that. But Bond have done enough. Not the first time I've said that tonight. And then Kicked off, I think Taylor went for the soccer, and I see why, but she was bumped off the ball. Loose ball at centre half forward. Samuels had a head over it. Moody was playing halfback. Was picked up by someone on the ground. Might have been Samuels who actually stopped Moody from getting the ball out of the contest. So just a bit of bad luck. Dixon with a windmill side in the ruck. Nolan couldn't get away from Arthur. The pressure was enormous as Sleep was able to get boot to ball. Suddenly a little bit of space. Graham ran into traffic. Graham tackled. She could be pinged here. In fact, she has been. Who were you looking at, Whitey? I missed.
No, just in that passage of play just before that free kick, just then Simone Arthur just with a brilliant shepherd. Like, it's just those little 1%ers that ball got out, and unfortunately they ended up giving away a free kick.
Another free kick given. Laura Roy has played on. She responded very quickly. Roy from the pocket went to the goal square rather than shooting. Hindsight wonderful. Katie Day! That is a Katie Day special. We have seen that time and time again over the best part of a decade in this competition, where if the ball is loose anywhere near the goal square, Katie Day will find a way of directing it through the sticks. Again and again and again.
That was brilliant. Katie just was in the right position. She saw that she was on the wrong side of the play, got around that play, and just managed just a little toe poke it over the top. That is a forward special.
She's an outstanding small forward. One Carlton's...
I don't know. I reckon I can take it to her.
Okay, rock, hard place, me.
No, Collingwood was losing...
Collingwood, sorry. I said Carlton. She did play with Carlton, but Collingwood was where she won best and fairest.
Yeah.
Thank you for...
Yeah. She definitely came back with a lot of game knowledge.
Oh, she went with a lot of game knowledge.
And came back with even more.
And so Morningside, with 3 goals in 8 minutes, have taken control. And to be fair, it's not like it came from nothing. They dominated the second quarter without much reward. Now, for Bond, beautiful turn by Lynch. The run was there. That was a dry weather pass. Usher brought to ground. Probably the first time, sometimes if you deprive a team of space, they forget what to do when they get it. McCormick winning the free kick. 50, there was so much movement around it. I can see the complaint, but...
That was a great call by Opal.
I get where Bella Ivak's coming from, but I think she's incorrect in this instance. So that's something to talk about later. So McCormick, I think the 1 or 2 goals she scored at this level have been from that distance. Nolan, that's what Nolan does. Finds a gap where you didn't think there was one. Got it wide. Picked up well by Tolley. Had some good moments in this match, Kiara Tolley. They do like to promote young talent, as Morningside.
It's very jammed up over there.
Yeah, well spotted.
You throw a blanket over them.
Jeff Newman's back in the commentary box. You knew the season had started when Jeff Newman threw a blanket over a section of the field.
Yes.
Kick out of danger. The mark not quite taken by McNaughton. She flew for it. Day swept. And that's pretty much the Morningside plan, where McNaughton's not that much taller than Day, but she's very much the key forward, and Day's very much the small forward, just in terms of how they play. Williams in the ruck. Knocked it sideways. Couldn't find space. High contact. Moody with the chance to reprieve for Bond.
Heidi Grimester. Yeah, she was just out on that side by herself there.
And was spotted a bit late because she was picked up by the time the kick came to her. Roy hacked it in field. Once again, the kick is charged down. And the goalkeeping was brilliant. Of course, without Gemma Blair at the back of defence this year, she's gone down to play for the Tasmania Devils, but Bond rebuilding, that's beautiful from McNaughton. Waded into the danger and came up with the crown. And then somehow taken. I think arms were being held. Yeah, Williams, she had both arms held back and still took the mark. That's extraordinary from Indiana Williams.
I'm speechless.
Some skill on show. And it's funny how in high-quality, tight contests, that's when the cliche of the premiership quarter actually means something. Morningside's third quarter has been brilliant. They've moved the ball well. They haven't been cute. It hasn't been sort of pretty handballs. It's been mostly by foot. But it's been the players who've been running hard. Indiana Williams goes to the right, not held by Jacobson. Chapman clears.
I think it just slipped out of her hand there, Daniela. She came down to her foot, and it just, you could tell the way that the ball came off her foot. She probably just clean missed it. Needs some grippo.
There was a brief period in men's footy where gloves with grip on them became a bit of a fashion item. I'm older than you, and we've just demonstrated that. I think maybe it was early 90s. You remember the early 90s, Whitey? Of course.
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And the umpires are making sure that space is available. I like the way they're umpiring this. The idea that you just put the whistle in the pocket and let the players sort it out.
And this is not an easy game to umpire.
No.
It is wet, the ball is on the ground all the time, and that is a hard
The players
footy.
are close
they
together.
Have done so well tonight, both of them, that they deserve all the credit, because really, Mitch and Opal have controlled this game and ensured that there's no injuries happening.
So Chapman was the one who cleared, got it on the Riding Road side of the ground. I think that was Arthur who propelled it back up the field. Reeves working hard. And Bond just with a little bit more energy in that passage of play. And I don't mean to imply that they've been playing without energy, but they possibly haven't been matching Morningsides. That kick, I think, was to a player who didn't read the script. Squeezes out to Reeves. Day in the action again, nearly came away with it. Constant danger, sleep behind the play. Speculative kick goes out on the full.
Morningside's just come out with this absolute force in this round. They were in this, quarter round.
That's right.
And this round, I guess.
We'll edit that part out.
Yeah, where they've just come in with just pressure. And I would imagine Damien Richards, knowing him as well as I do, he would have gone in at half-time and been like, put the pressure on.
I think even though they've sort of gone down a couple of pegs, Bond University is still a big scalp. Teams do lift when they play the Bull Sharks because they've got impeccable pedigree. But it's Bond with the ball now. And there's still a quarter and maybe a couple of minutes left. Humphreys, clever, got away from Blattman. And they're on the march again. Chapman, one of Bond's best today.
Absolutely.
Comes wide to Reeves.
Chopping.
There's a few things could have given it for there. As Reeves goes inside, Blattman not able to hold on. Furlong does well. That's a beautiful catch. There was never a mark, but it was a really good catch.
Blattman did really well then, just bring it down at the front. She knew she wasn't going to get it, bring it down to the smallers.
Beautiful work from... And
that's mine.
I can see what Humphreys was trying to do there, and she didn't have a lot of time. Didn't work. But one thing you'll notice about Blattman, and I said this on commentary last year, she hardly ever goes to ground. Doesn't matter how hard she's hit. Blattman, whatever the contest, hardly ever goes to ground. You've clearly heard something, Whitey. I'll pick that up in a moment. Or maybe I'm making things up.
No, I was just listening to the football. You know when it's waterlogged. You can hear it. But they've changed the footy at half-time, so it's a little bit lighter.
So it's more of a Besser block than a brick now?
No, it'd be going back to brick status.
Gotcha.
Besser bricks are a little bit heavier. Sorry, I won't get into the building terms, Matt.
No, I trod on your turf and I deserve you to take it out. A little bit of miscommunication between Chapman and Farmer. Chapman ended up recovering for her own mini mistake. Found Moody, steps inside, sleep. Couldn't get away from Chu. Superb work, Rasheen Chu.
Right on, Dr. Chu.
I will always have the memory, and I'll leave that anecdote for later. But a magnificent third quarter from the Morningside Panthers. 5-4-34. They lead Bond University 3-1-19. We've seen something special. Can Bond come back? We've got a quarter to find out. This is round 4 action in the Bond University QAFLW.
Okay, let's give them 60 minutes of skills, fitness and fun. And let's not forget about connection. We're talking safe, inclusive, and modified rules, perfect for newcomers. Okay, super kick on 3.
1, 2, 3, super kick! Woo! Yeah!
Super fun, super safe, super inclusive. Super kick, tailor-made for 7 to 12-year-olds.
AFL 9s, it's footy for
Best mates looking to be teammates.
cardio fiends after a bit of competition.
Legends of the game. Looking at making a comeback.
It's footy for when your week's pretty cooked.
Or for fitting it in between classes.
It's footy!
It's footy.
It's footy.
It's footy for me.
It's not just an Australian sport. There's a lot of countries that come over and create a home here that can also join in and play the sport to the fullest potential.
All the advice that you get given, it's really inspiring.
Being part of a football team is more than just a game. It's like a family.
To find your more, visit play.afl/more to footy.
Football club is very, very important in this community. Without it, there's not much else to do in such a small town.
I do believe that there's so much more to sport than just winning.
If my story says anything, it's that you don't need the experience, having the passion and having the want to see the young girls excel.
It's also, to me, a chance to give back to the community.
To find your more, visit play.afl/more to footy.
Absolute stunner. And Katie Day, with a goal typical of her career, pushed Morningside out to that 15-point lead. My name's Daniel Vales. With me is very experienced QAFLW, all sorts really. She's done everything. Amanda Whitehead. Okay, I like to put my co-callers in the position of the coach that's trailing. Andy Lovell, what hasn't he done in the game? What's his message in your mind to his team at three-quarter time?
I do actually know Andy very well. We obviously worked at the Suns together, so I do know
Of course,
Andy.
yes.
He would have been out there just encouraging his girls to continue. That first quarter for them and that second quarter, I guess the whole first half, they were so eager to get that football. They wanted to be there. They were putting the pressure on Morningside. And he'll be encouraging them to lift their heads and go back in with that same intensity. Make sure that you're getting to that football first, and if you are, we're getting it out and we're pushing forwards. That he'll just be instilling in his girls that they have done so well in circumstances and that they don't like. They don't like the mud, they don't like the rain, they don't like the wet, but they've done so well today. And I keep saying it, Daniel, this was my game of the round. This is the game I was excited for, and this last quarter is going to be an absolute cracker.
And Whitey's saying that in a round that also had a match between the ladder leaders and the reigning premiers, Wilston Grange versus Southport. You can watch that on the very channel you're watching. Morningside got there first. It went from Day to Chew. They're attacking by three-lettered names. Going out towards the wing, Williams. Turn defender. Good work around the body as Bond able to clear. Sienna Graham. Sorry, Coco Garten.
Coco.
Yes, yeah, I'll get there. Too many blondes. Not able to dispose, and Whitey had her hands in the air saying, yeah, I can...
Opal was on the right side to see it was a throw, but I think maybe she just hadn't seen it.
Okay. Garten versus Davidson. That is one athletic ruck contest, and it was Davidson who had the better there. Actually, it might have been Garten with the tap, but it went to a Bond player, so just rewind that and correct my commentary using AI. Reeves and Lilcock, an interesting battle. That was
a great
clear
tap.
win to Coco, but it was Nolan who ended up with it. Left foot kick from Taylor as Blaschick tries to get out of the way. He couldn't run backwards fast enough. Again bogged down. Lilcock turning back the clock and playing some soccer skills. Showing some soccer skills.
It's getting late, mate. It's your second game of the day.
Yeah, did the men's game as well. So, and, champions always make excuses. Garten. I'm going to translate that into Latin. That was a push in the back. And so Bond. You suspect the comeback has to start pretty much here. Taylor. Kick to a standing target that nearly backfired, but Reeves did well enough to keep away from McDonald. Reeves looking for Lynch. Front position by Sanderman, whose work I've liked today. Good handball from Lynch. Didn't quite hit the target. Kick from Bortignon. Blattman heading towards it. McCormick tracking her. And I think they were standing over the line trying to demonstrate to the umpire exactly where they were. Hello, sir. We are over the line. Look at us. Over the line. In fact, they weren't. It was just a ball up. Hang on, are we down a boundary umpire? No, we're not.
No.
Sorry.
No,
there is a boundary umpire
he's
over
at
there.
the post. Yeah.
Oh, a bit. Sorry. We'll edit that part out.
Yeah, he's standing behind the post.
And the one on the other side is pretty much at the 50. Garten dominating the ruck contest at the moment. She's got the springs and the feet. Bond University have field position, but they're not going to close 15-point gap purely by field position. The full moon was last night, but the 99% full moon that we're seeing tonight is spectacular. It's a beautiful backdrop to this match. As it's out of bounds, just be a boundary throw in. Bond on the attack. 3 minutes in, 17-minute quarters plus time added on for goals, behinds and injuries. There's definitely time for Bond.
Oh, there's heaps of time.
But at the rate goals have been scored tonight, you suspect the first one has to happen
Very
sooner rather than later, yeah. Davidson flying, good photo opportunity. We'll talk about the photographers in this competition. I don't know whether Brooke sleeps here today. We've got Anthony Byron, we've got Dissolve images, we've got High Flyer images.
No, I don't think Brookie's here today.
That's okay. But if you're a fan of the QAFLW, be a fan of the photographers who shoot it as well, because we've got some absolute crackers in the women's competition. Morningside successfully pushing Bond away from goal, metre by metre. It's almost like American football where it's first and 10. Garten again, almost Falcon Reeves, who's tried hard in midfield.
Chapman's just sitting out on the 50, or not quite the 50 now, it's about the 45 by herself. Oh, now she's going in.
Chapman or White? I think that might be White.
Nah, it's Chapman, I think. 31?
33.
Oh, is it 33?
Yeah.
Apologies.
Shot on goal. Oh, good goalkeeping. There was Neva Bell. Oh, there was a kick off the ground.
What?
Bell dropped it. It landed in the field of play, and then the toe poke came through. Bond have manufactured a goal. Unlucky for Neva Bell.
Was it?
You play the whistle, you play the line, and even more so on a wet day.
That's why you have goal umpires, right?
It is one of the reasons.
Wow. I don't have binoculars, guys, but Daniel does, so...
And I was just about to take them down because I thought that Bell had knocked it through.
Wow.
So we will identify the goal scorer for you. But Bond University found a way. Not a day like today. I mean, we can hardly
That was brilliant.
Well, they matched Katie Day, basically.
Yeah.
By just taking the opportunity when it came. There's another very close game happening in this competition right now. Broadbeach. Oh, Simone Arthur.
Oh, no, that's going to be a free
So
kick
it isn't,
to Bond.
because they've already had the... Well, they've already had... I thought they had a warning earlier in the match, and in fact, Mitch Blaschick might be pointing that out. Yes, Bond's free kick, so it's starting to turn their way. Just little hints. Still trying to get the goal scorer from that last one. I don't think it was Blackman, even though that's pretty much my default assumption.
I'll have a look.
I don't think it's on the app at the moment, and I've just let people know how we're cheating. Giving away the secrets.
It's not cheating, mate.
Very good point. Thank you. You can stay.
It's being resourceful.
Again, rugby union on the side is Hannah McLaughlin. Who don't know if she played rugby. Certainly played some first grade cricket. For the old Winner Manly Redlands side.
Really?
There's a few ex-cricketers in this competition. Another one who played with her is Jessica Pang, who's now turning out for Southport after a couple of years away from the competition. But they played together in the Catherine Raymond Shield. Bortignon with a shot from way out. Ivorak was attacking. It's a one-on-one contest. Ivorak tries to knock it back into Bortignon, who followed up well. She's brought to ground by Graham, who's worked hard today. McCormick's clearance is beaten by a whistle. And we believe it's Bella Ivorak. So Ivorak, who is moving closer towards the 50 goal mark, that brings her up to 47, I think, in this competition. Bella Ivorak is the scorer of the goal. And they need another one. Whistles are plenty. And the free kick's gone. No, sorry, I misread the umpire's signal. It's a boundary throw-in. Yes, Ivorak with 47 goals in this competition. Bursting through, goalward shot. Blackman turns, kicks. We have a game on.
What did I say, Daniel? What did I say? Wow. Wow. We are 3 points. 3 points. I don't even know what to say right now.
Let's just enjoy it.
I don't even know what to say. I've got goosebumps.
The work from Blackman at the end, but there was lead-up work from players who were facing the wrong way, so forgive me for not identifying. Again, double tap the left of your screen a couple of times and you go back 10 seconds on YouTube. One day when we get 5 camera coverage and deluxe commentary boxes, we'll be all over this. But again, they had 2 or 3 opportunities, but that is now 2 goals in 3 minutes.
But she did such a great job. She was in front of her player. Yes, okay, the goals were behind her. She took it, stepped in the right, turned on a shoulder, bang.
Blackman is so strong, she never goes to ground. I mean, she probably has, and she probably will now that I've said that. As Bortignon with a check side kick, goes towards Blackman. Important tackle from McCormick. Kicks it forward. Bortignon has the chase. Williams getting back. She's been moved into the fence. Blackman. Free kick goes to Morningside. There are a few things I spotted that could have drawn a free kick, so possibly a player being held off the ball. Morningside with a chance to clear. I should point out there's no noticeable wind here at the moment. It was blowing about 15 kilometres an hour earlier today, but it's purely coincidence that most of the play's been at the left of the screen for the second half of this match.
And as any coach knows, if your player stays on their feet, they will win the ball 90% of the time. If you are coming into a contest, you hold your ground, you bend your knees, you make your body strong, and you pick up that footy and you hard five it or you press out of that contest. That's exactly what Bond is doing right now. They are keeping their feet in the contest and they are not losing the ball because of that.
Contact below the knees, so free kick to Bond University, about 60 from goal. Thanks for the analysis, Whitey. Because I suppose my question about the third quarter from Bond was it lack of effort or was it maybe just not putting in the right effort? You can have a moment to answer that. Blackman came from nowhere, just slipped through the fingers. Morningside have the numbers but not the control. Brings Blackman back into play as she brings McCormick to ground.
I think when you've got some of your strongest backs and some of your strongest midfielders sitting on the bench waiting to come on, this is the moment where Damien Richards should be like, let's make interchanges, let's make it happen. You've got Sophie Balcombe sitting there, you've got Corny McDonald, you've got Chu, you've got Teresa Dixon. They need to be on the field.
Free kick's been blown. I'm not talking over your point, just staying
No,
with
you're right.
I suppose my only question there is, would doing it now, like does Damien Richards have the plan to do that in 2 minutes' time, for example?
I would say it'll be once it gets out of the 50, you would hope.
So Alira Usher looking for the lead. Someone got in the way of Blattman and they needed to. Good work from Bellinger, holding onto the ball rugby style.
As I say that, Courtney McDonald comes back on.
Yeah, I do. I'm going to, if I say that Damien Richards has a plan, that's hardly a brave statement. Knocked it, just breaking away. The tackle needed to be good, and it was. Was that kicking in danger? Lilcock. Now, was that deliberate? Interesting call to be made. Just a boundary throw-in. As Whitey's learning the commentary area is a dangerous place.
Hitting your funny bone's not so funny, Daniel.
It's humorous. That's literally why it's called the funny bone. Let's move on. Just need a brief bit of levity from the intensity of this game. It's been a classic in the wet. You don't normally get games with scores this high in the wet in women's footy at this level. It tends to be exciting games that are decided 20 points to 16. We're seeing 34-31. Now, I realise the naysayers will still say, what, that's all they can score in the wet? First of all, shut up. And secondly, it's women's football is developing that fast. Be here for it. Don't miss the train. Enjoy it now. Reeves at the back of the contest. Goes towards centre half forward. Blattman! She took off for that mark probably a second earlier than Williams. Now, 99 times out of 100, you would back Blattman in, but it's a wet ball. It's late in the game. This will be a test. This for yet another lead change. Kendra Blattman, it's way out to the right. No, sorry, I had parallax error. It's knocked down and rushed through for it. No, it's... I don't know what's going on. It's now out of bounds.
This is Morningside's second very close game with top teams.
Very good point.
And that's how exciting they are this year. They beat Southport.
At Southport.
At Southport. By 1 point. There is no reason why they cannot beat Bond today here on their own home ground. But...
it's volleyball at the moment. No one able to clear it. Lynch couldn't get a clean shot away. It was Lilcock who got the semi-clearance. It was Graham who was held. Turnovers aplenty. Balcom with a big hit. No, it wasn't Balcom, it was Arthur.
Sophie will still claim it.
I think they'd have a lot of respect for each other. I'd like to see them in a powerlifting competition just quietly, but...
yeah, I don't know how Balcom can make the tackle when she's standing on the bench, Daniel.
That's very... okay. I'll have words with you after. Chapman, one of Bond's best today. Chips it inside 50. Goes underneath McCormick.
Who's down there, Daniel?
Well, McCormick's got the bright pink headgear. So
it's McCormick. She is not...
and this is the first... it's her. She looks groggy. But, yeah, I'm not going to pretend that I can diagnose from this distance or with my abilities. Now we've heard the call from downstairs.
Yeah.
Williams
is getting
who played as a defender at Morningside and then gradually moved forward. I mean, Blattman with a shot. Kendra Blattman over the goal. Umpire's hat.
I don't know how that's... how's that happen? Okay.
I don't think there was it must have been a free kick beforehand and we were too busy watching...
yeah, but the player's in the middle of play. So that shouldn't have been a kick.
Let's assume that we missed something and that the umpires had control of that. I don't think it's necessarily a controversial moment. Blattman, however, she has 4 goals for the game. I think her best in the game in this competition is 6. This is her 31st game in this competition. She's up to 56 goals. There is concern from McCormick, and rightly so. Whitey's just conducting a review, so I'll go through the goal scorers. For Morningside, Simone Arthur, Emma McNaughton, Courtney McDonald, Hannah McLaughlin, Katie Day. For Bond University, it's been 4 to Kendra Blattman. The first goal of the match went to Shannon Nolan, and then the first goal of this quarter went to Bella Ivorak. Whitey, what do you know? I came in too early. I'll throw you a little bit later. Sorry, but no, don't you apologise. So the game will pause while there's concern for Lucy McCormick. But Bond, who trailed by 15 at quarter time, they led by 3 at half time. and they finally restored that lead. The lead changed 5 or 6, but it did threaten to blow out there for a little while. The goal scoring, the last 6 goals of this match, 7 goals of this match have been at the left-hand side of the field, the northern end of Jack Esplin Oval. It's not wind-related. It doesn't seem to be light-related. If anything, it's darker in that.
So McCormack's just coming off the sideline, which means that is her day done. She cannot return. If you do not go through, if anybody's watching this who doesn't know, if you don't go through the interchange gates, you cannot return to the game. So her day is done. She's gone straight up the sideline. I have reviewed it, but I'm not gonna give any conclusive evidence.
That's okay. No, it's good to know when to.
She's in a fair bit of pain.
To back out. So McCormack's in pain now. Morningside, I don't think they've had an inside 50 this quarter. We're probably looking at about 3 or 4 minutes left. Balcom, who's just come on with a huge tackle, followed up with an equally big one, well, not as big a one, but still huge from Laura Roy.
That was a brilliant tackle there by Sophie Balcom.
So the question is, why did it take this long for Morningside to start putting the effort in? And I suppose, because we're neutral and he's far away, we're, Damien Richards made a decision about how to use his interchanges, and it's okay in hindsight to review that and say, okay, did he get those right, or should levers have been pulled earlier?
I think it was tough, and you obviously alluded to this before, Daniel, that the play was all in Bond's 50, and it was all over on that far broadcast side. It wasn't on our side, so it's hard to get that interchange. It's a fair run, mate. To get over here, and then you're leaving a gap within their 50 as well. So I can understand why it hasn't happened. It probably will frustrate Damo a little bit because he would have liked those interchanges faster. There's not much you can do when the ball's on the other side of the field.
Thanks for the insights, Whitey. We've got a cracking final. It's just gone 17 minutes, so we are in time added on now. Mitch Blaszczyk will call another free kick. And this has gone to Bond. It's been a memorable fourth quarter. They haven't won it yet. Morningside haven't lost it yet. Jasmine Davidson, who's put in a lot of effort. Lucy McCormack just below us, head down. She cannot possibly be disappointed with her efforts today. Davidson kicks from 50, matches the jersey number, was pushed away from Blackman. Nolan, just the ball moved away from her at the final moment. I think that's crossed the line, just through for a minor score. Rushed hardly seems the correct word, but that's the statistic. So a 4-point lead, 38-34 to Bond. Morningside, they come out a little bit wide. If Bond keep it in the forward 50, they win. McDonald, it's a race. McLaughlin chasing, Lilcock rather. Chapman, one of the best on ground today, centres it. Good work from McLaughlin this time. Puts the tackle on. Hands on the ball. Blaszczyk will just call the ball up. There are appeals from both sides. There is tension. Over 18 minutes gone. Time off only for goals, behinds and major injuries. So, the injury to McCormack will have lengthened this quarter, so he should still have a couple of minutes left.
I'd say we'll probably push out to about 20.
I couldn't agree more. Day not able to pick up the ball cleanly under pressure. Probably a bit too much soccer today, although Nolan was able to get it forward. But Bond are outside. Sorry, Morningside is out of their 50, which means they've got a bigger chance than they've had for most of this quarter. Davidson v. Dixon. Davidson clever. Morningside get a bit of forward momentum. Goes out towards McDonald. He's trying to get around Chapman. Chapman superb. I'm calling it best on ground for Toby Chapman. It's gone forward over the top. Dutton chasing. Some brilliant defensive efforts. Taylor brought to ground.
Huge tackle by Sophie Balcom there.
Balcom doesn't just have the strength, she's got the pace as well. I think she's done a bit of running over the past couple of years. The tackling is strong from Bellinger. She once told me she was training for a half.
She was, yeah. She's not wrong.
Outside the 50, Morningside looking for a way forward. Again, can't hold on to it. The desperation is evident. Shades of Dakota Davidson diving on the ball in the 2023 AFLW Grand Final.
Yeah.
Whatever way you have of getting your hands on the leather, you take it. Simone Arthur's tried hard all day. Couldn't get her hands on the ball. Had to settle for the player. Bond again. This fourth quarter, if they can hold on, it'll be on constant replay in their clubhouse. Beautiful hands to Dutton. Dutton inside 50. The charge down was superb from Lappin. Loose ball. Lappin's done brilliantly. A double effort, triple effort. Morningside appealing for the free kick. It's not forthcoming. Blattman knocked it forward almost volleyball style. Turned over to Morningside. They're looking left. They keep it on the short side. Nearly turned over. They can't get out of their 50. Roy tries to clear. Can't link up with a teammate. Day had Ella on her back the whole time. Another ball up. We've gone 20 and a half minutes. We don't have access to the clock. You don't have access to the clock. Bond have come from the clouds in this fourth quarter. They've turned a 15-point deficit into a 4-point lead. They are not yielding the forward 50 pressure. Every clearing kick, very few are making it outside the 50. It goes to Day. She wasn't able to pick up cleanly and turn around. The handballs are messy. Whatever works. Furlong's been outstanding on debut. Mark taken. There cannot be long left. Bella Ivarak has the mark. 21 minutes gone. Scored a goal from point blank to start this quarter. She has an opportunity to add the full stop. Bella Ivarak from about 45 with a waterlogged ball. Bond has the win. Ivarak fell short, but it's a famous victory. One of the great Bond University QAFLW games. Bond 6-2-38 has defeated Morningside 5-4-34 at Jack Esplin Oval.
That was tough. But do you know what? If that was the grand final, that is exciting. And that right there is why it is so, the QAFLW is so exciting, because this is not the first game that we have seen Morningside play that's been so close. And they should not be disappointed at all in that effort today on this kind of ground, because that was superb. They came out in that third quarter, Daniel, and we just thought it was a whole new team. It was like as if they'd all gone out, had spa treatments, come back and just felt fresh as daisies. Like, that was a game that they cannot be disappointed in. Yes, I know Damo Richards, he's going to be disappointed in that, and the girls are going to be heartbroken, and we've all been there, but they shouldn't be. And I'll say this wholeheartedly, both these teams, we will see them in the finals.
Couldn't agree more. I'm going to give the goal scorers, then you can give me a best on ground for each side. So for Morningside, it was singles to Arthur, McNaughton, McDonnell, McLaughlin and McDay. Sorry, I just got into a habit there. And then for Bond University, it was 1 to Nolan, 1 to Ivarak and 4 to Kendra Blattman. I've given my best on ground to Toby Chapman already. And I think for Morningside, honestly, just with the effort that she put in and just turning up all around the ground, Simone Arthur is definitely in there for me. Gretel Lilcock was probably underrated. But actually, I was about to say Simone Arthur, who did have a brilliant game, and then I second-guessed myself. No, I'll stick with Arthur. How about yourself, Whitey?
I'm going to say from Bond University, probably Kendra Blattman. I just believe her hands were so strong. And I'm not going to lie, she is the cleanest player out there right now. They have white jerseys, everyone, and she is the cleanest player out there because she kept her feet. She kept her feet. She put her hands up in the air. It was great. So I'd say Blattman for them. And then I would say for Morningside, it is a bit of a toss-up, but I would say Simone Arthur. And you know what? You can't go past Sophie Balcom's last efforts there in the back line. I think it was brilliant. I think it shows why she's one of the best backliners in the comp currently.
Whitey, it's an absolute pleasure to have you
As
calling
always.
Regularly in the Bond University QAFLW this year. Next week, you will see Maroochydore versus Bond University from Neil Upton Oval. So Bond in a bit of form. Maroochydore, they're a side on the rise as well. They've got Steve Moody back as coach this year and some exciting players. So do join us 4:45 next week up at Neil Upton Oval. And then
we're back the following week.
Morningside versus Cooperoo here for the War of Wynnum Road.
And it's going to be exciting.
Replay the preliminary final from last year. Whitey, thank you very much. Thank you for your company today. Please watch all the other matches on the official AFLQ channel in the Bond University QAFLW. Join us at Neil Upton Oval next week. But from Jack Esplin Oval, it's good night.